So you got her, man.
Right.
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 And then we have these videos here to show her. What do you have to say about her right now, man? Why do you
She made the right choice. Nah,
why do you love her so much, man?
That was a clip from my guest's new album, Give Yourself a Couple Seasons. And here to promote his new album, Give Yourself a Couple Seasons, the sanguine scumboy himself, Sage, is joining us on the program. Give yourself a round of applause, Sage. Round of applause. Hey, how you doing? How you doing, sir? How you doing, sir? How you doing, sir?
I'm alright.
You alright?
Whatever.
Doing one of those? Alright, Sage, first question! What is the title, Give Yourself a Couple Seasons? What does that mean to you?
The album was originally Let's Break the Internet. And then
That's right, that's true.
I decided to change it into, I think it was Breaking the Internet. So it went from Let's Break the Internet into Breaking the Internet, and then from Breaking the Internet, it went to Give Yourself a Couple of Seasons. Basically, the reason the actual name came up was because, I don't know if you watched The Office, this couple is Jim and Pam, and Pam is dating, in the beginning, Pam is dating this guy named Roy, but Jim likes Pam, and they both work in the same office, so they didn't actually get together for a while, until like a couple seasons later. So I was talking to my friend, because I mean the album was mainly about like, you know, a girl, and like how my emotions were feeling after, you know, things went wrong with that girl. I was talking to my friend about it, and he says like, oh, you know, you're kind of like Jim and Pam from The Office in a way, because it had to do with, you know, like give yourself a couple seasons. Give it a while.
Right.
You know, give it a little
That's
while
cool.
until
That's
it comes back together.
That's really interesting. When did you start working on I guess Breaking the Internet or Give Yourself a Couple Seasons?
I mean, the whole album in general was starting to be worked on after my first album. I decided that I was like, okay, let me make another one, but like, let me, you know, I'll drop it when I want to. Like, I don't want to drop it so fast. I don't want to give, you know, all this like work and stuff and not have it recognized. So I want like to get hyped up in a way.
The recent promo you put out for this new record, it says that the genre is new wave, right?
Yeah.
But it also classifies the record as an 80s nostalgic album.
Right.
So I wonder, how did you go about mending the two?
My sisters were born in the 90s, so I have a very good history of like all the music that's going on like around that time, because they listen to it and I grew up with them. So it's like I kind of adapted all these different types of like, you know, likes for music. I was kind of put into like a mixing pot genres of music, and then that's where I got my inspiration for making like this kind of sound. And I think 80s appealed to me most just because like that aesthetic, I think that fits me well.
Sure.
And I think my voice fits that aesthetic well. I think I just called it new wave, not completely referring to the genre new wave. I would say it's just a new type of thing. It's a new type of genre.
Like it's quite literally a new wave.
Yeah, it's literally like an actual new wave. And I mean, if I really had to put a label on the genre, I was thinking about it like a couple times, like last week and this week too, and I would probably call it like neo posh.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I like it though. Posh is kind of like fancy, like, you know, upper class kind of thing, and then neo, like in some like, for example, like neo soul is like a new generation of soul music. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I would say it's like a neo, you know, not really fancy, it's just posh. I like the way that sounded.
It's sophisticated.
I wanted to give it that, like, you know, own thing. Like no one makes neo, like you can just see someone saying, oh, he's making neo posh music. Oh, did you hear that new like neo posh genre came out? Like it's weird, but like, you know, it's kind of like grunge.
Sure, yeah.
You get me? Like grunge is just like, yeah, it's an innovative word, yeah.
Sure, that's fair. And what do you think was your biggest challenge making the record?
I think was the feelings that happened throughout the whole actual like album. It's like there's not a huge change. It's not like one moment I'm sad, then I'm happy, then I'm mad, and it's just like it's a very big like it's a blend of a lot of sad and at the same time angry at the situation, at what happened. Because in a way, if you really pay attention to the lyricism, like to the way that it's like said and stuff, like it's just things happen. Like I wouldn't say it's in chronological order, but I would say that it definitely does tell a story about what's going on. It's very emotional. It's depressing in a way to me. And I think the biggest challenge was not being able to like say her name. No, you get me? And it wasn't being able to like call him out.
Wow.
And like I wanted to really bad, but I couldn't. It was hard not to spill everything out. Because at the same time, like I just think it wasn't like it wasn't fair to her or fair to anyone else to be doing that. I think the most relieving thing about the album at the moment would be definitely the fact that kind of releasing this is kind of like letting it go. I kind of just gotta let that drop out there and then see what happens. I think I'm happy on my own right now though.
Speaking of being on your own, you tend to be on your own on this album in terms of features.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you why do you have so little features on the album?
I think it's because, don't get me wrong, I like, collaborations and stuff. I just think that this was something I need to do on my own. Specifically because I was tied to the situation on my own.
Right.
And I think the only actual feature I have wasn't even like a vocal feature. It was just like someone playing the guitar for me. I just think it was something I needed to do on my own because I don't think anybody else could have related to that person in the same way. You get me?
Yeah, nobody else would have been able to tell your story for you
exactly.
as well as you. What does this project mean for the Florida music scene, or more specifically the South Florida music scene? What would you like it to mean?
I think there's a lot of potential in South Florida at the moment with music, but I think that potential is very under the actual fame of what South Florida is getting. For example, like I do not it's just my opinion, but I just don't follow most of the rappers in the South Florida scene right now, just because of the way they're approaching actual hip hop.
Right.
Now I don't do hip hop, so I don't think I could have a very efficient voice in it. But if I was very opinionated, I think that hip hop is, in a way right now, kind of just in a different realm. And I think there's a lot of potential in South Florida in terms they should take it into a different genre. There's a lot of people I know that know how to play, jazz and independent music, and they sing all alternative music and all this stuff, but they're not getting the actual recognition that they deserve because of where the eyes are in the actual South Florida scene right now. Yeah. So I mean, the only thing that I want this to do is if I can get an actual jump start from this, if anything, a good amount of recognition for it, I would like to have people get their minds right, start pushing their music as much as they can to I think music like this has the ability to actually change the world. You get me? Right. So I think this genre and the way that it's even 80s music, 80s music I think changed the world very, very drastically in the fact that I think 80s music really pushed fashion out and pushed messages out and pushed love out and pushed out it was okay to be heard. Right. So it's just I think that's what a lot of people need right now, because I think that the world we live in right now is kind of fucked up. So I think we need when the world is at a bad time, I think that's when art has the ability to be the motivation for good leaders and stuff like that, and for change. Exactly. So I think that's what I want this genre's direction to go into.
So what's next? What's next for Sage?
What I have planned out is kind of I want to push this album as much as possible, and if it's if it really does good, the good I need it to do, then I would like to go on tour and actually start performing with it. But I mean, I think there's a very big possibility that I'll be probably dropping an EP or mixtape either by the end of the year or next year. But I think my goal for the albums is keep the same genre in mind, but switch up the sounds. I wouldn't like all my albums to sound alike. Right. I want them to have different vibes. So maybe the next one's happy, or maybe something happens, God forbid though, maybe something happens again that's emotional, but I take a different approach or something. I just want to take different approaches to the same genre.
Final question, Sage.
Right.
I've noticed when you type your name into iTunes or Spotify, there's a million Sages. Sage the Prophet, Sage this, Sage that.
Sage the Gemini.
Sage the Gemini, all this crap, you know? So I wanted to know, what do you think makes you, or what makes you the definitive Sage? Why should the people listen to Sage instead of someone like Sage the Gemini or Sage this, Sage that, Sage that?
It's the sound. It's the way that I'm approaching this album, and you'll hear it. Like, the way that the things are made, it's different. It's very, very different from what's been going on since the 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, since the 80s. So I think 80s, that 80s genre, that 80s type of music ended at the 90s, obviously, because then another type of genre took over. And I think it's time we rehash other genres and add our own taste into it and make it one big different genre. I think that this genre and other genres could work together to make that voice, because I think a lot of people need motivation to keep going right now. A lot of people are at like a crossroads in their life. That's really it.
Well, thank you, Sage. Thank you for coming on the show.
Sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can pick up Sage's new album, Give Yourself a Couple Seasons, on March 30th. Anything you'd like to say to the good people?
Peace out. Stay with peace, man.
Peace out. Stay with peace.
I'm fucking hungry.
Yeah.
Let's go get some fucking